Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And
all right, as always, Dolphins
#1,
baby!
So fins up to all you guys. Thank you for being
I just want everybody to remember, we may not always agree on everything Miami Dolphins, but there's one thing we do agree on, is we are all Dolphin fans. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host tonight, Steve Malloy, and my buddy, as always, Rob Mosley, a.k.a. Dolphins Thirsty. What's going on tonight, Rob?
Hey, it's all fun in Miami Dolphin land. They're across the pond over in Germany, getting ready to the two 6-2 teams facing each other. So a lot to look forward to this week, as opposed to a couple weeks ago when we had to wait all day to watch the Dolphins play the Eagles. We're going to roll out of bed, and it's going to be time for Miami Dolphins football people. So that's great. That's fun. And if they win, it's going to be a fun Sunday the rest of the day. Over here on Dolphins Thirsty, I got a show tomorrow on YouTube at 10 a.m. And it's Trivia Tuesday, so I have a new trivia post up today on dolphinthirsty.com. But Steve, it's Tuesday night. I always look forward to our show. So it's all good, and looking forward to talk some Miami Dolphins football with you about lack of moves today, but you're the captain of the ship, so start where you want to start.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, man, another win, right? What are we? We are 6-2 now. We're heading up to Germany across the pond there to play the Kansas City Chiefs. But you were at the game this past week, Rob. Tell me your takes on the game, and how are you feeling about the win, and how was the atmosphere at the Hard Rock Stadium?
Oh man, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Division games, so there was some bickering among some fans, and so many people are watching that. I say watching the game, and so many people are watching the people fan because a Dolphin fan and a New England fan got in each other's face over silly stuff. Obviously, they've been drinking a little bit, but the atmosphere always is a little more intense on division rival games at Hard Rock and any stadium across the land, because just like your rivals that you're playing, that you play twice a year, every single year they're going to come to your stadium. New England, their fans still, even though their team's not that great, they travel well. So there's still pretty many New England fans that showed up at Hard Rock. Luckily, the Dolphins came out on top, so they couldn't be their loud selves, and they left with little fanfare. But yeah, it was great atmosphere. My son and I had a great time. With the Jalen Ramsey interception, came right there. I mean, we saw developing because we said, we could see it because that's right where we were sitting in the upper level though. But you could see the whole play develop, and it was so cool. And you knew it was going to be a pick. We were just keeping our fingers crossed there was no penalty or whatever, because it seems like every time we make a good play, like some penalty flag flies. But there was no penalty. It was a good play. Ramsey got himself the interception. Mike McDaniel teased him. He goes, I was kind of disappointed because he had promised me a pick six, but he got me a pick field goal. So it's just good, it's good humor seeing him at action. So it was a great atmosphere. Most important, Dolphins won. For you gambling degenerates out there, they covered the spread, so they did what they were asked ahead of a big, conference game against the Chiefs this week. They took care of business. The Chiefs did not take care of business during their game this week, so we'll see how that plays out. But the Dolphins did what they had to do. It was a workmanlike performance. They got it done. Put over 30 on the board. Tell me, hey, what more can you ask for? 2 receivers over 100 yards. The Patriots hadn't even given one receiver over 100 yards all year. We did it double time on them to make up for the first game that we didn't get one.
Yeah, for sure.
It was good. It was good to see. Both Waddle and Hill went over 100 yards. So
it was good to see. It was
good times right now. Good times.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody that's in chat, I appreciate you for joining us tonight. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. And as folks are coming in, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. and please share, of course, share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. So, Rob, I want to talk a little bit tonight about, of course, the Patriots and win, and also a little bit about the game heading into Germany, going up there to play the Kansas City Chiefs. I also want to touch a little bit on the O line and some trade talks, which there's not a lot of trade talks with the Miami Dolphins, that is. But I also want to make sure and remind everybody, remember, um, we may not agree on everything Miami Dolphins, but there is one thing we do agree on. We're all Dolphins.
Man, you almost forgot your disclaimer. Thank you, Steve.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we get
And,
started, I want to make that disclaimer
yeah,
that we can
yeah,
always we can disagree, agree to
yeah.
disagree. We're all
Right. Let me
Dolphins.
answer Duke's
Yeah,
real question, but yes, we
yeah,
can agree to disagree. But Duke, yes, it can get loud. It's not as loud as the old close-in Orange Bowl days on the close-in side, but it can get loud. You can see the players on the other side. Sometimes Miami fans need to learn to stay quiet on offense. Sometimes they're on their feet making noise when we're on offense. I'm like, guys, you're supposed to be quiet now and noisy on defense. But other than that, yes, it can get loud. And it's a beautiful stadium, Duke. If you've never been there, you got to get there one day. Get it on your bucket list. It's a beautiful stadium. And if you go in the middle of the day and you don't like the sun, there's plenty of shades if you sit in the 300 section. And if you like front row seats, sit on the Dolphins' home side in the lower deck, and you should be okay as well. But it's a great stadium, Duke. Get there if you can get there. Anyway, all right, Steve. Yeah, that's that question. I didn't want to get lost. All
no,
right.
I appreciate it, Rob. You see any questions there? If I miss them or whatnot, please, if you go ahead and answer them.
Well,
That's
the Back It Up Bench podcast wants you to do the hustle, Steve, because you're wearing your disco stuff.
No, you don't want to see me do the hustle, man. I back in the day growing up, I had to have when I did drink, I had to have a few adult beverages in me before I did anything
Yeah.
even near the hustle. So no, you don't want to see it.
Thank you,
And,
Key
and I
Melendez. I don't know if you're related to Bobby, but if you are, welcome. If not, fins up to you.
yeah, thanks
So,
everybody for joining. So
yeah.
I want to get back to the New England game real quick. The Miami Dolphins, they didn't do real well in the run game. New England kind of shut them down as far as the run game goes. Um, they did pretty good as far as passing, of course. Tua Tagovailoa looked good passing that ball around, and that's what I like. He mixed it up. He threw the ball around. He threw a lot of short, intermediate, and short passes. And of course, with the exception of the long 42-yard pass to Tyreek, and then Waddle caught some good passes. And he dropped a couple too. But my concern with that game was, and especially going up into playing a Super Bowl team. I mean, they won the Super Bowl last year, the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, it's a different year, but I'm a little concerned of the turnovers. They had 2 fumbles, and they had the interception. Tua Tagovailoa has thrown an interception, 7 interceptions in the last 8 games. Um, and we fumbled quite considerably this year. I mean, it's. I know we didn't fumble that much last year. Do you remember us fumbling that
No,
much at
not
all last
much.
year?
Mozart's had some fun. Like Mozart's having a great year, so I hate to pick on the man, but he has left the ball. But that one play was kind of like a bad exchange between him and it's like Mozart
Yeah,
was thinking maybe he was going to pull it out and do an option or run or something. It's like they
I don't
weren't
know.
on the same page. It was just like all
Right,
like just I was
right,
right there, unfortunately, right next to me. I'm like, it just looked ugly from the get go, like they weren't on the same page.
right. Well, and that's concerning, though. Whether it was a miscommunication or whatever it is, they need to get that right because you're playing against playoff caliber teams, and especially going up there in Kansas City. This weekend, we can't afford to turn over the ball or make miscommunication reads or mistakes or whatever you want to call it.
Oh no,
Uh,
for
but
sure.
but we did
For
come
sure.
out of the game a winner with the mistakes or with the turnovers, and that's what counts. Is at the end of the day, we won, and I'm happy about that, and we move on. Let's talk a little bit about the before I get to talking about the Kansas City Chiefs game coming up, Rob. And I wanted to ask you specifically. Um, I I want to get your take, your opinion, how you see it, and then I'm going to give you mine, and then and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but this is how I see it. But first, I want to get your take. How do you see this offensive line playing out? Um, in the next, 9 games that we have remaining. Do you feel comfortable with the O line that we have? Um, why is this O line playing up to par? Is it playing as good as everybody seems that it, from the outside is playing, or how do you see it?
How I see it, our starters when healthy. That's unfortunately a very, very important key phrase to this
Mm-hmm.
take. When healthy, they are good enough to get they're solid, get the job done, and can actually be a little above solid to actually get to the good level. When Armstead's healthy, that's a big win. Is not going to be healthy anytime soon, so that's
Right.
already a gone. Connor
Right.
Williams, we're hoping to come back. Robert Hunt, we don't know. So yes, along the offensive line, Jackson's playing better. Knock on wood, he stay okay. But yes,
Mhm.
what I like to see more depth. What I like to see a move today. We were hoping to have Brett today in the chat, but I had told Brett that's the one spot. Even if it was just four, he could verify this. We said this before. That was I wanted offensive lineman, but even if it was for depth, just to have another body there if someone goes down. Because can we really count on? I mean, when Armstead comes back, it looks like he's going to come back sooner than later. But
Mhm.
for how long? I'm not going to hold my breath saying he's going to play through the Super Bowl. I hope he does. And yes, and I'm saying Super Bowl just to be optimistic here on Halloween. Happy Halloween. I forgot to say that to all you guys. For you guys that celebrate, a big happy Halloween. And thank you for taking a little time out watching us tonight. But yeah, I would love added depth. But if you tell me with Arms, if you can say, give me the Steve Malloy guaranteed. Armstead won't get hurt the rest of the year. Left guard, say Cotton or Jones. I don't know which route they're going to go. They put Jones in there this past week once we had injuries, and then they moved them around. They moved Cotton to left guard and Jones so I don't know if that's going to be it if Hunt's not ready to go. So, it is what it is, unfortunately. But do I like our starters if they're healthy? Yes, I think it's a competent line that can get the job done and not, and be fine. But do I have concerns with the lack of depth? Yes, because how long is Armstead going to be here when he does come back? I know I already said that, but he's been here for a little over a year, about a year and a half now, and he's missed several games. And it's just you just don't know how long you're going to have him back, and then you don't have Wynn anymore, who was playing pretty well. Was he an All-Pro level? No, but he was getting the job done, and he was very good at getting to the second level. Is why we had some of those big runs and now Jones and Cotton evidently they're okay, but they're not good at getting to the next level and opening up the big running plays.
Yeah.
So we're going to see. It's going to be see. But the long answer is, if all those guys are healthy and we have a Hunt, you tell me he's back at right guard, and Austin Jackson remains healthy. Teron Armstead comes back and stay healthy. I know I'm saying a lot of ifs, but if they all do, and Connor Williams is back anchoring the line, I think the line is good enough. But would I like to see some more bricks in the armor, as our fellow Justin likes to say, call them bricks? Yes, of course, I would have liked to see more bricks up there in the offensive line. And I know your take, but I know we're going to hear it. So I'm sure we may not be on the same page. We didn't talk too much. So I'm waiting to hear it. But so my basic answer is I have concerns, but if the starters stay healthy, I can live with it.
No, and that's fair enough. That's fair enough. That was you put that very, very, very in a very nice, articulate manner,
Right. Thank you.
and you're spot on. No, I agree. It's a big if if our starters are healthy, and I agree on that front. If our starters are healthy, I'm talking Armstead, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, just those three O linemen alone.
Right.
Our line is pretty solid through and through. And I
Right.
say that because the way that this Mike McDaniel scheme is, he covers up a lot of the deficiencies, not so much on Armstead in those three that I just mentioned, but the other two, whoever those other two might be. And right now, it might be Robert Jones. Robert Jones, and you're correct on Robert Jones. He's not. He to get to the second level, he struggles with that, but he's a very good pass blocker. Lester Cotton, not so good, not so well on either category. I like Kendall Lamb is a very good pass blocker, and he can get to that second level. He has shown it. Those Kendall Lamb is a backup. That's how he plays. He plays
And he's
like
a
a
good
solid
backup. That's
backup.
where we want
Right.
him as that
He
swing
plays,
tackle. And that,
yes.
right.
He
I agree
plays,
on that front.
he plays at like a solid backup. Robert Jones can be a serviceable guard for us. Liam Eichenberg does not belong on this team. That's just my opinion. Has he improved? Not really. He really hasn't. He's been. They have kind of disguised him, the other folks that were playing, but does he make a few blocks here and there? Yes, but he's not consistent. He's getting beat a lot. So let me answer this question. Duke, bring up the Duke one about the trade for Agba for.
I was gonna bring that up, that the trade deadline passed today.
Yeah, the trade line passed, Duke. But my beef with Chris Greer was he could have gotten Ezra Cleveland. He plays guard and tackle, both. And he's solid at both of those positions. Better than any backup guard or tackle, better than Austin Jackson that we have on our team right now. And he could have got him for a 6th round pick. A 6th round pick, because who was it the team that got, was it
Jacksonville, I think. Wasn't it Jacksonville?
Well, I can't remember who got him, but they picked him up for a 6th rounder, man. We didn't even have to trade anybody. All we had to do was give him a 6th round pick. For Christ's sakes, we have 2 6th round picks that we got. Remember, we traded Feeney.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my only beef there. The trade deadline is passed. It's over with. There's nothing we can do about it now. But that's my beef. If we were going to get anybody in the trade deadline, that's who I would have liked to have gotten. But no,
I know. When I was surprised, because normally offensive linemen don't become available, because when teams have an offensive lineman, they don't normally want to get rid of them. So I was actually surprised when I saw that trade alert that an offensive lineman had been moved, because I was just like, oh, but I don't know what his salary is. The final year of his rookie contract. I don't know how much.
I think it was $2.9 million.
Because the Dolphins just have about $3 million left, so that would have taken them right up to the hilt, basically.
Yeah, but it would have
unless they were able to trade a body for that and exchange contracts.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, Robert, and you said it. It's the depth. Even if he was I think he could have came in and started, and we could have put whoever else at that guard position, whoever's going to take over whether it's Robert Jones or whoever, or Lester Cotton, he could have played in them spot. In those guys' spot, and we would have had I would have been more comfortable with this O-line and using Lester Cotton and whoever the backup Robert Jones was. But anyway, it's either here and there. But I wanted to go over the PFF, and I like PFF. It's a good indicator of how these guys play. Not only in the games, but also throughout the year. Up to the 8th game point that we're at now.
Right.
And now I don't have those total numbers for right now, but they're similar. I did go back and did the research on them. But for the New England game, and it goes to show you, right, how adequate PFF is. And this is a good prime example of what I'm talking about. Because they don't just count, your passing ability or your run blocking ability. They pass pressures. All kinds of, they get into the real intricate details of the position every game. Okay, so a guy, for instance, let me give you an instance. I just wanted an example. I wanted to go over this so folks get an understanding of this. The PFF rating system works like this, okay? So from a scale from 0 to 100, right? 90 to 100. If a guy gets a grade 90 to 100, whether it's throughout the year consistently, that's what you want, or it could be one game that he played, a 90 or 100 is elite. So if he had one game where he played 90, he played an elite level that game, right? All right. 85 to 89 is a Pro Bowl level, right? Starter, a good solid starter. Their rating should be a 70 to an 84. A good backup rating is between 60 and 69. Someone that can be replaced on your team, right, without really missing him, it would be, of course, 0 to 59. Now, hope everybody got that. You guys can go on Google it and Google the PFF rating system, and they'll go through exactly the intricate details of how they come up with these ratings and stuff like that. And it's pretty interesting, and it's there's nothing better out there. Let's put it that way. So that's why I use that as a good indicator of an individual player's production. Okay.
Ends up, Vito.
Now for the game. Happy Halloween, Vito, brother. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now for this particular game, okay? Austin Jackson. Now think about the game, Rob. You were there when I say this. Austin Jackson had a 65.6 total, okay? But run blocking, he had 48 rating of run blocking and 83 pass blocking.
So really good pass blocking.
Really good for this particular game.
Right.
Lester Cotton. Total rating was a 58.3. So backup level can't be replaced, right?
Yeah.
Run blocking, 47, right? But he had a good pass blocking grade this one particular game, 79. Then you had Keon Smith. Well, that's not even fair. He only had like 5 snaps, so I'm not even going to put him in there. Liam Eichenberg, right? Playing center. 53 is his total grade. 46 run blocking grade. 73 pass blocking grade for the New England game. So not bad, right? It was a starter caliber.
Right.
Kendall Lamb, 59 total, 52 run blocking, 64 pass blocking. 64.
So below average, but it's showing you why we went to the pass a lot.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Yeah. And then Robert Jones came in. He had a decent amount of snaps, 56 grade total overall, right? Because they're combining the running back running grade and pass blocking grade. 66 run blocking. So he did serviceable, as I said, as a run blocker. Pass blocking, 29.
Oh wow! So that's where he flipped the other side. But
that's where
most of our let me get caught up in some. Raphael Courtwright, a big thumbs up to you. Ender, as always, it's a pleasure. And you guys, and Aladino, I don't know if I said a big hello to you earlier. So, but anyway, now we're all caught up on all the comments. But no, you're right, Steve. I mean, we got concerns on the offensive line. I know the PFF is not the end all be all, but it is a good gauge.
No, it's a very good. But if you go and study it and you see, you were at the game, so you this is all it's right on, man, because you saw where the pass blocking was solid, right? But here's where I might disagree with you a little bit on that, Rob. Is our pass blocking because we have really good solid players all around, or is our pass blocking good? And I'm speaking because we don't have Armstead and we don't have Connor Williams. I'm assuming we don't have those two, right? So don't add those two in there.
Right.
But is it because of they're good, solid players, or is it because of the scheme of McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa throwing the ball out at 2.3 seconds?
Well, you're like me. You're old enough to remember that that's what the knock on Richmond Webb and Keith Sims, because people used to say, oh, they're so great. But then it was like, well, Marino doesn't get sacked because of his quick release. So it's one of those age-old questions that you never know what comes first, the egg or the
Yeah.
chicken. You know, it's like one of those questions you can't really answer, because would he be that good? You know, it's like, you know, that's one of those hard ones. And that's where it really gets hard in the PFF. If you had just a drop back quarterback that sat there a long time, is he going to be getting, like, if you throw a Mac Jones? Wow, Ender, man, a big fins up to you, Ender, with the super chat. That
Thank
is
you, Ender.
super duper.
Appreciate
You
that.
rock, Ender. And guys, fins up, fins up. Fins Talk Sports Network does have super chat. So if you want to ever help out their channel, make sure you do. Bobby will put it to good use for the channel to try to get it bigger and better than ever. But thank you, Ender. But yeah, no, I mean, you're right. So it's very, that's where it's very, I guess it becomes subjective in a little bit on the, because you're going to have to wonder, is it because there's no pressures because Tua gets the ball out and then like that's it? Or is there really no pressures because they're just blocking the heck out of the guy and he would have had another 2 seconds to throw him the ball? You know, that's what we don't know.
Right.
So is he, you know, so I agree, though. I mean, it's a good take and it's an age-old take. It's perfect. It's been around for a long time because Richmond Webb himself on many of the shows he's talked about, he says that was the one knock people used to say on him. It's like, whoa, Dan Marino, there's, you know, of course Bruce Smith's not going to get a lot of sacks against Richmond Webb because Marino has the quick release. But I think it's a combination of things. They probably are better at pass blocking than they are run blocking. But Tua release helps, and Mike McDaniel having the schemes of quick hitting passes helps. So that's probably why we are, as much as it hates so many of us wants to, you know, and like Aladino says, it works hand in hand. And I agree, because it takes a team, it takes the village, as they say. One guy messes up an assignment, the whole play blows up, you know? So I agree with all you guys. It's just, it is what it is. You know, we're never going to really know. You need them both because it does help. But if you had a drop back quarterback that just sat there and wanted to scan the field, say if you throw Mac Jones or something, I don't know. I'm not knocking Mac Jones, but he's a little different.
Right.
You know, just like a good quarterback that takes a little longer to get rid of the ball. Is he going to be getting killed behind our offensive line? Is it really because Tua? So it's like one of those questions we don't know. Aladino said it best. It works hand in hand, I guess, Steve. So but I know what you're saying, that they are definitely helped by Tua getting rid of the ball. I mean, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
100%.
not subjective. That's true.
100%.
But what we don't know is if they had horrible offensive linemen, would it be not so easy? Would he be getting a lot more balls batted down or getting people in his face quicker? So that we don't know. You know.
All right. Well, here's what I know. Here's what I know, and I'm sure a lot of folks have seen both games. Okay, no matter how you see it, whether you say they're, you know, I know there's the stigma, which I would definitely want that stigma to go away after we play Kansas City. All right, I want that stigma to go away. They're saying we can beat bad teams, but we can't beat the good teams. But I'm just using this as an example.
Right.
We played Buffalo. Our offensive line got bullied and they got creamed, and Tua was under tremendous pressure. And he didn't get the ball out a lot. He did get the ball out pretty quick on several occasions that I saw that I was very surprised. So I have to commend him on that. And
hey, crazy Dolphin, fins up to you.
And the Philadelphia game. You know, I didn't see any long balls in that game or the Buffalo game. He was getting his.
I mean, to the one defense of the offensive line, not again, nothing with the quarterback.
Right.
We didn't have Connor Williams for the Buffalo game. And I'm not saying he's the White Stevenson and he would have came in and made a difference.
Oh, I think he would have made somewhat of a difference. Yes.
Yeah, he would have made some. I mean, and I'm saying he's not saying he's like going to make the difference whether we won or lost, but he would have improved the offensive line play. Right. So I'm really hoping Connor Williams, because he actually dressed it. I could see him on the side. He actually warmed up, dressed, but he never came into the game. He was down there encouraging his teammates and, you know, high-fiving them on the scores. And so he was out there, and he would have played if they had to break glass, is what, you know, break glass in case of an emergency. And McDaniel even said in his press conference, he thought a couple of times there when Hunt and these guys started going down, he may have to break the glass on him, but he didn't. He refrained from playing him. So hopefully that's a sign that he's going to be ready to play in Kansas City if he was ready
Oh,
to
we need
dress.
him. We need him.
You know,
We need him.
and we need him because you got Mr. Jones coming to Germany with Kansas City, you know. And that's another question I got for you, Steve. Do you think travel arrangements are going to make a difference, or at the end of the day, it's just going to be the best team? Like Dolphins took the approach of going on Monday. Chiefs aren't even going in until Thursday. Do you see an advantage one way or the other?
Yes, I kind of see the advantage. No, I wouldn't say advantage. I would say, um, I wouldn't call it advantage, and I don't know what to call it, but I'll tell you this. This is how I feel. I feel McDaniel, our coach McDaniel, the whole Dolphins organization, however you want to say it. I believe they did the right approach by, flying the team out there real early, get them acclimated, having the bonding time as McDaniel called it, have them get together, have some dinner together and get to see the sights and a relaxing time and all that. I don't see where there's any wrong with that.
I think you're right. But I think, and let me take, and the key word I would say is routine. It would get them in a routine quicker.
Yes.
Because if they would have flown out today, say like on Tuesday, which is normally the players' day off, then they would have been tired for what. Now they're going to be rested. Tomorrow they get to go. Their sightseeing should have been done today. They should have had fun. They had all today as their day off. Now they can get in the routine of have their Wednesday practice, their Thursday practice, their Friday practice, and film sessions. And, so it should be, I think they should have, coaches are creatures of habit. They're used to working those days and keeping everything so the players know, hey, at 8 a.m. we got to do this. At 10 a.m. we got to do this. Oh, here's lunchtime. Here's afternoon film session, blah, blah, blah. So
Rob,
I agree.
That sounds like sort of like your routine.
Yeah, I know it is, man. It is like I'm a very routine. Well, you being ex-military, me being an
me too. Yeah,
we all get into routines. So it's just, but it's just, and those coaches love those routines. And it's just, I think that I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to drop that. I think he mainly wanted the routine. So now Wednesday, that's it, man. It's all work starting tomorrow and Thursday and Friday,
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Rob. That's an excellent point. Yeah, for sure. Routine, you said it. That's an excellent point. But I wanted to go over the game, the comparisons of the two teams. Of course, the Chiefs are 6-2 as well. They lost to the Broncos 24-9. Not much offense there. But here's the key. Here's the key, right? No excuses, but Mahomes hurt his right hand pretty bad. His left hand, not his throwing hand. And he had the flu.
I know.
So he was very much under the weather. No excuse, though. Denver played a good game. The Broncos, everybody's saying, well, the Broncos are a bad team. Okay, maybe they were bad when they played to Miami. Maybe. All right, let's just assume. Maybe they were bad when they played Miami. But this Broncos team has gotten better. I think they're starting to gel. They're starting to come together. They're starting to, know what Sean Payton, the coach, wants. So this is the time. This is the time of the year, November, and we've talked about this before, Rob. November, December, about the 8th, 9th game of the season, where teams start to gel, start putting things together. Some teams start dropping behind that were good in the beginning. Now they're, for some reason or another, they've lost that chemistry or whatever it is, And then there's teams that were bad in the beginning. They're starting to get better now. So all the teams, I think, are starting to become more competitive now. I think the games are going to be a lot tougher. They're even if they have got, losing records, they're going to play their hearts out, right? At this time of year. Everybody's kind of in the routine, as you would call it now.
Yeah.
The 8th game of the year. So, but anyway, to go back on the what we're talking about here, comparing the Miami Dolphins offense and defenses. Um, the Kansas City Chiefs offense is number 4. Miami's offense is number 1. They're still holding number 1, holding strong at number 1. Of course, things are starting to even out now. They're not getting as many yards as they've gotten before. They're not rushing as many yards as they were before. Of course, we're missing A-Chain. I'd love to see H. Somebody mentioned in the chat they'd love to see A-Chain in this game. So would I. But points per game. The Kansas City Chiefs are only averaging 23 points per game. I don't even believe that's the league average. Miami Dolphins offense, they're averaging 33, so they've dropped down a little bit, but they're still averaging 33 points a game. Kansas City's averaging 105 rushing yards a game. Miami's still up there, though, 151 yards rushing a game. Passing, Kansas City is averaging 276 yards passing per game, where Miami's averaging kind of a significant drop, but they're still doing pretty well, 321 yards a game. So Miami's offense is considerably a lot better than Kansas City's, in my opinion. Although you can't take away Mahomes.
Now, the Mahomes factor is the unknown because he can take over. He can take over a whole game himself.
Exactly.
You know, and I don't want anyone to ever be sick, so don't throw dirt at me. But man, if he was going to be sick, why couldn't he be sick this week over here in Germany? You know, why can't we get a flu performance?
But here's the thing: we don't know.
We're going to have a healthy Mahomes.
Well, no, maybe not, because a flu can last for 3, 4, 5 days, and you're pretty much drained after a flu.
I know, and I'm kidding. Of course, I want to beat the best always. I'm just teasing, but it's just
Sure.
But hey,
I got you.
I don't want any excuses. I want them to be able to beat them with their best.
I want that stigma lifted from this Miami Dolphins football team. Okay.
Oh, no, I know.
So let's go for the
number 1, baby.
Let's go.
Please. Duke has a question.
Sure.
What do you attribute Waddle's drops, or am I being too hard on him in your opinion?
No, I don't think you're being too hard on him. I'm a little hard on him too, and those are unexcusable drops. Okay. Those are some passes right in his arms, and he has a tendency to catch him with his body, and it's followed him up into the NFL level.
He just mirrored what you guys said. You guys were thinking on the same wavelength. Maybe
yes, he uses his body, catching his body instead of reaching out with his arms, and that's
weird because sometimes he does snatch it like when he has to, and then sometimes when I think he just I don't know. He just has that lapse every so. Hey, but it's hard to fault him this week. He had that nice, beautiful touchdown. He was over 100 yards receiving. And yes, he got some help from 2 guys going over on Waddle and no one picking up.
On Tyreek.
On Hill and no one coming over and picking up Waddle. It was fun. And we saw that develop too. I'm like, he could have walked in. That's how open.
I think he did. Didn't he walk in?
Yeah, he basically jogged, walked, whatever. But yeah, he did. It was so open.
So let's compare the defenses, Rob.
All right, perfect cue for Aladino there. That's what he said right now. So perfect cue. Good timing, Steve. Good timing.
No problem. So the defense, Kansas City's defense is ranked 4. Actually, Miami's defense, which I like to see, has been improving. And what I do like is this defense is going to make a big improvement. And you would think one guy wouldn't make that big of a difference, but Jalen Ramsey is going to make a big difference in this defense. I guarantee it.
It's not really like one guy because then you put Cater where Cater's better at.
Yes, it brings up the whole team.
Right, it brings up the whole team. I agree with you. It's like one guy lifts up the whole team. Yeah, because Cater has a lot better game when he's not having to be against the main receiver on the perimeter. He's good on the inside, and I don't know. I think you're right. I think you'd spot on, especially if you get Xavier back this week.
Oh my gosh, yes! If we get Xavier back this week. And that's going to bring up not only that, but the front 4 is going to play a lot better. I mean, they're going to be able to get more pressure, get some coverage sacks and stuff like that, and force Mahomes into making mistakes. Now, don't get me wrong, though. Mahomes can run, so we still have to watch out for his running ability. Like you
No,
said, he can take
He's
over a game by
one of those
himself.
frustrating quarterbacks to defend.
Yeah,
You think
he
you
is.
have everything all bottled up, and he run for 15 yards.
Yeah, exactly. So yards, they're averaging 287 yards a game. Miami's averaging 329. Now on their passing. Oh, excuse me, that's defense. My bad. I was talking about the defense. They're allowing 287 yards on in passing on their defense, receiving yards and passing. And Miami's averaging 329. They're allowing 329 yards passing. So, but again, these are calculating 7 games without Ramsey. So that should be a lot better here in the coming weeks. They're against the pass, though. Against the pass, their defense is number 2 against the pass, though.
They're good. They're solid. Their
They're
defense is no
solid.
joke.
Yeah. Miami's is 16 against the pass.
So
Rushing,
in the middle of the
in the middle of the pack. Yeah, right now. I believe it will start to improve. Rushing, they're 19th against rushing and the defense. They're 19th. Miami is 17th, so they're neck and neck, right?
Oh, wow. Miami's actually stepped up lately then, because they in the beginning they weren't so great against the run, so they got a little bit.
Yeah. That's correct. Yeah, you're right. Scoring, they're second in scoring. They only allow opposing teams 16 points a game. Miami's defense, they're 25th, and they're allowing 25 points a game, so a little bit above the league average. In the red zone, they're around in the mid range in the red zone. They're ranked 15 in the red zone, allowing teams to score in the red zone. And Miami's 28th. We got to get better in the red zone if we're going to.
That used to be our strength, and now we just kind of.
Yeah. So it used to be. So that's the comparisons as far as defense and offense. Look, here are the keys to. Here's what I think the keys are to the game, Rob, and then I'll have you give you your keys. Or go ahead, give me your keys now. What do you believe the keys to the game will be?
Oh, and another game on going back to the Patriot game real quick. I was thinking, because they're talking about Jalen Ramsey, but other than the Jalen Waddle drops, it was a pretty good day for the Jalen's. Jalen Phillips was getting to the quarterback a lot. Jalen Ramsey had an interception, and Jalen Waddle. So the Jalen's showed up, and it was very nice to see them show up and all contribute to the win. So and no matter how they choose to spell Jalen, they all have the same pronunciation, and they all played well this past Sunday.
They did.
But yeah, again, I know this is like boring when I say keys to the game, because it's almost always the same thing. Avoid turnovers and create turnovers. And we haven't been doing that as well. This past week, at least, like I said, we got the interception by Ramsey. And Ramsey would have had a forced fumble, but the ball went out, and then it ended up being a penalty. So we end up taking the penalty, so that he didn't get credited for a forced fumble. But that was a beautiful play. He came up there and boom, that's what you teach. It's just like beautiful thing to see. And so maybe we will have the makings. And if we can get Javon Holland back there, and maybe he can get back to the more, because he hasn't really done the ball hawking ways that we were all anticipating. But now maybe because he's on getting asked different roles, we could have had so many different injuries out and asked him to do different things. So hopefully we get all these corners back, and we need him at Holland get a little more opportunity. So maybe we can create more turnovers. So basically, avoid stupid penalties. The same as I say almost every week. You can put me on recording. See, avoid stupid pre-snap penalties. Penalties during the play are going to happen every single week against every single team. But pre-snap penalties, you can't be lining up in the neutral zone on a 3rd and 4, giving a team a first down. And on the offensive side of the ball, you can't be running down the play clock trying to get a play in and have to either burn a timeout. So clean that aspects up, and we're pretty good. Those are the keys to the game. I would like to say a well-balanced team, but not knowing how our offensive line is, I don't even know that's realistic. But I would like to see a balanced offensive attack, of course. But that's a big question. That'd be a whole other show almost, though. But Omar Kelly on the Joe Rose show, because he's filling in for Joe Rose this week. He says he thinks Ramsey should be on Kelsey, but
Definitely.
Fangio is just very old school, doesn't move corners around. He just keeps on the one side. And that's why the whole game Diggs got lined up with Kohu, because he doesn't move. He doesn't say, "Oh, you go cover this." You never see them moving around. He's old school. One corner on this side, one corner on this side. So he would like to say maybe that someone would get to him and say, and maybe he's just been keeping it vanilla until this game, and will move now. Ramsey had some action and move him around. So I would love to see Ramsey. But it's going to be up to Vic Fangio whether or even Nick Needham, like you say. But Ramsey's definitely a physical matchup with him, because he's a bigger corner, and I think he can be on Kelsey and not lose the physical battle. That's what happens with most of the DBs. They just lose the physical battle with Kelsey, because he's just a big dude and out muscles, and he finds that spot. But that's what I want. I know that's a lot of keys to the game, but yes, definitely slow down Kelsey. Make someone else beat you. If they beat you, fine. Don't let their star. I don't want to be our team flying back from Germany saying, "I can't believe you let Kelsey go off for 100-something yards, 2 touchdowns." And don't let him beat you. If Mahomes, if these guys, Tony, all these other guys go off and have a great game, that's football. But don't let the one star that that he loves to go to beat you is another key.
No, I agree 100%, Rob. So I'm going to give you my keys to the game. I won't give you my predictions, but I will say a little bit of something of what I'm feeling, my gut feeling, and then we'll call it a night, because I got to go give out candy.
Yeah, I hear you. My wife's doing that tonight, so I'm good.
Okay. No, I'm the guy who gives out the candy in our house. I've been elected to do that. Anyway, I feel the keys to the game are pressure Mahomes. That's
man, you're right on cue again with another, man. You guys are just on the same page today. Yeah. Daniel's on the same page as you. Right when you say keep pressure, breakout game for Phillips, 3 sacks. All right.
There you go. We need to have a balanced attack. We cannot let Kansas City score first. We've got to score first, whether we get the ball or not. In the kickoff, if it's Kansas City, we've got to get them to get out, 3 and out, and that's it. And we've got to go on the attack. We've got to stay a step ahead in this game. So, and also a balanced attack, passing and throwing the ball around. And of course, we cannot afford to fumble. Our Tua cannot afford an interception, any kind of turnover whatsoever. We have to be the ones forcing the turnovers.
I was surprised to see Mahomes has thrown 8 interceptions this year. So
yeah, he's thrown a lot of interceptions too. Yeah, for sure. It's
not like he can't throw an interception as good as he is.
Yeah. But anyway, I do want to say this, guys, before we close out. I am not scared of the Kansas City Chiefs. As good as the Kansas City Chiefs supposedly are, and they are a good team, good, solid, all-around team. I'm not as scared of their offense. The only one that I'm scared of on their offense is Mahomes. That's it. And Kelsey, of course. If we can contain Kelsey and we can keep Mahomes, guessing and running for his life back there, and maybe, covering his main guy, like you said, Rob, Kelsey. I'm not scared of the other 2 receivers they have. Rice, he's okay. Pacheco, he's all right running back. Nothing special in my opinion. I have a gut feeling, and I will give my prediction Saturday, because we will have a show Saturday night. Did you pick a time?
I haven't determined the time yet, but Saturday night on Dolphin Thursday, people, we're going to have a pregame show because the Sunday game is so early in the morning. So we're going to do our pregame talk Saturday night on Dolphin Thursday.
Right. So what I was going to say is my gut feeling is I'm not going to give you a score, but Miami is going to win this game. The Miami Dolphins are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and we are going to eliminate that stigma that we have upon us. And we are going to upset the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my gut feeling.
I like it, man. I like that prediction, Steve. And I know you. I know I was teasing you behind before we came live. I shouldn't have taken your fury away because you were upset the Dolphins didn't make a trade today. But I think you calmed down before the show. I hope you didn't calm down for me. I was just teasing you. I know you really wanted to
No, no,
make that
no.
trade. But overall, it's really cap reasons, and there's so many things that came into factor. And I agree with you. I would have loved to see them to make the team better, but we do have limited resources, even with the draft picks, because we don't have like a fourth round pick this year or third round pick. We don't have a third round pick this year because it was taken in a tampering charge. And then we
I,
still don't have a fourth round pick because of the Bradley Chubb trade. It's our final payment towards that. So we really didn't have those mid-round picks. We would have either given up one or two, or like you said, maybe for that offensive alignment, we could have given up maybe the one of our six or something. But hey, it is what it is. I'm looking forward to it. I think the Dolphins win too. I don't know the exact score yet. I don't know if it's going to be more offensive, more defensive. I get to that more in the week. Guys, I have a show on Dolphin Thursday tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. I have to go set it up. So if you look for it yet, it won't be there. But right after this show, I'm going to set it up for tomorrow. So, Steve, I'm like I said, it's been another fun Tuesday night.
absolutely.
I know you got to go give
I've
that
enjoyed
out,
it,
that
Rob.
candy.
And I just want to tell everybody happy Halloween. Enjoy your night. Be safe out there. And God bless. And remember, Dolphins number one, baby.
Dolphins number one.
One.